Good morning, Graphic Communications. This is Dr. Rigler, and what I would like to do is give a quick overview on what we will be doing this week. This is to try to help you kind of know what's going on and to stay up to date with all of your assignments as we've transitioned to online learning for graphic communications. So first thing I want to start with, just as a reminder, in the Getting Started area of Blackboard is where you'll find the course activities document, which has our due dates going forward. Just like we were doing in class, our due dates are every Sunday night. So here you can see the different module that we'll be going through and then the due date for that module. So this week over in Learning Modules, we are continuing on working with our InDesign. We're doing Module 11 this week. So this week deals with design typography. And this is just continues on in terms of the Adobe InDesign and working with layout, but then really specifically gets into the areas of the typography and kind of looking into the details of when we do a layout in terms of design. So typography is very important. There are a couple of links here I'd like you to click on and open up. These are just some websites that give you a quick overview on what we mean when it comes to typography. We can think of typography as the font, or really what we refer to as the font is actually what we call typeface. So as we go and we select Times New Roman is actually technically what we would call a typeface, not a font. The font actually refers to what we'd refer to as the bold or italic or any one of those different styles within a typeface. But just because in our modern times so many people just use the word font, when you go and you pick a different font in Microsoft Word or another program, that's what they call it. I use that term also, but I would like you to be aware of technically it's called a typeface. But within each typeface there are all kinds of details that we probably don't really pay a lot of attention to. So as part of this module, you're going to learn some of the different details of what makes the style of a typeface different from one another. So I'd like you to go through and read these different articles. There's also an article here about setting up your document in terms of Adobe InDesign. Oftentimes when working with something that we're going to send to the print shop, what we want to work with is the marks and bleeds in the slug area. So this little worksheet or this website kind of walks you through what those mean, and there are ways to set that up in InDesign. Then your first assignment this week is going to be a little typeface assignment. So you're going to click on this PDF right here, and there is a website called Identifont that lets you kind of walk through a step-by-step process to try to figure out which typeface you might be working with. So let's say you might see a typeface on a website or in a magazine and think, boy, that's a really cool typeface. I'd like to use that. How would I know? Well, with Identifont, you can follow the steps and walk through and learn about the different components and identify the different components that you see, and in the end it will give you a list of what typeface that might actually be. So what you're going to do is use this Identifont website, and it's going to ask you a series of questions, and looking at the typeface here you're going to answer those, and then normally what you would do is you would write which typeface you think it is on the line here. In our case, what you're going to do is just click on this title link for the assignment, and then in the text box on the next page just put A and then your answer for A, B, and C. Then your first InDesign assignment for the week is going to be developing a wedding invitation, and so click on this PDF right here, and this is going to kind of give you a visual of what you're going to be creating and the directions for you to follow. So using Adobe InDesign, I want you to go through each one of these steps here, and when you are all finished you should have a wedding invitation that looks like this. So be sure, even as you get to the end, the only difference will be that obviously we're not going to be printing this out. You're going to save this as a PDF. So you'll follow similar steps except for using the Save as PDF, and then you'll simply attach it to the discussion board instead of having a print option. Then The last assignment you're going to do for me this week is you're going to actually develop a business card. Business cards are very important. They're something that almost all businesses use, and someday down the road when you have your job, you might even have one now, where you're going to have a business card. And so I'd like you to read this article here on kind of some tips and tricks, techniques for developing a good business card. So go through that information, and then using InDesign, I would like you to create a business side. For now, let's just stick to one-sided. The file size, the traditional business card size, is 3.5 by 2 inches. So when you open up InDesign and you start a new document, you need to make it specifically 3.5 by 2 inches. Now, let's say the screen that you see right here is that size. It's not exactly, but it's close. The ratio is similar. When you open up InDesign, you're going to have your red margin that kind of goes along the inside. Don't design to that red margin line. In this case, you want to design all the way out to the edge. What that's showing, by default, you probably have a 0.5 inch margin, and that's going to take up a good part of your working area when your size is only 3.5 by 2. So don't get confused with that. You want to design to the outside edge of your design, not to the margin. At the same time, you don't want to run text all the way to the edge, so do make sure that you give yourself a little bit of space. But as part of your business card, I'm looking for some good components. I'm looking for some graphics on there, some good elements and principles of design. I'd like you to be creative, but at the same time, additionally, I want to make sure that you are doing a good professional job. So it's going to take you some time. So then in terms of your submission, as it says here in the Module 11 discussion board, attach a PDF of your business card. So your wedding invitation, you're going to attach right here. Click the assignment link and then attach the PDF. The business card, you're going to just submit that to the discussion board, so attach it to the discussion board. Then what I would like you to do is, after you've posted yours, I want you to go to another student's business card, look at theirs, and provide a good comment. Tell them what you like about it. If there's maybe another element that might help improve it, you could post that, but just give a couple sentence comment on what you like about their business card. And that'll be it for this week. So you have 3 assignments. You're going to do the typeface assignment here. We'll click here and put A, B, C, and D. You have your wedding invitation where you'll click here, attach your PDF file, and then lastly you're going to create that business card and you're going to attach it to the discussion board. You're going to need to make sure that you get started on this. As I emailed last week, I would anticipate you need to spend a good probably 4 to 8 hours this week on this class. If you're still learning InDesign, you might need to go back to Module 10 and go through some of those tutorials that we had from Who Knew It, and so you might need to click back on the InDesign Basics in Advanced to revisit a few of those tutorials if you didn't get all the way through those last week, or you need a reminder for each one of those assignments. So be sure to get started early, and as I mentioned at the beginning of this, the assignments are due on Sunday night. If you have questions, send me an email. If you need specific help, a little more walk-through assistance than we get through email, we can set up a time to do a Zoom meeting or even a phone call, and I can answer your questions that way. So look forward to seeing your work. Be sure to get started, allocate your time wisely, and let me know if you have questions.